Welcome to Little Orphan Anime. In 2022, there was so much good anime, I had a list of about 18 shows that could have made my top 5, so I thought, why not make a roulette game out of it and bring all of them in? Here's how the game works. For each spot in my top 5 list, I'll give you clips from 4 different shows before selecting one of them for an official spot in my top 5. There will be a countdown timer for each clip. Give yourself a point for each show you can name before the timer reveals the title of the show, and give yourself another point if you can guess which of those shows makes it into my official top 5. With so many good shows, guessing my top 5 is going to be like spinning a roulette wheel, so good luck. There might even be a prize at the end. Is everybody ready? I guess that's a yes. Here's the first group competing for the number 5 spot. And the number 5 pick is Kaguya-sama, Love is War, Ultra Romantic. Kaguya-sama just barely makes it in over Mob Psycho 100, two of my favorite shows of the last few years, because it solves a problem that occasionally shows up. What should I recommend to someone who wants to get into anime? Most of the time you'll hear Cowboy Bebop, Death Note, Fullmetal Alchemist, well, you probably know the list. But what do you recommend to somebody who wouldn't be interested in a shonen action show? I think one of my go-to answers for those people is going to be Kaguya-sama. It's a well-made anime that is legit funny and has engaging characters. There's also a chance that people have already seen the viral Chica dance, even if they're not into anime. It's pretty much the perfect comedy to introduce to anyone who's curious about anime but maybe isn't a fan of sci-fi, fantasy, or fighting shows. And this latest season hits on all cylinders and ends with actual relationship developments, which is usually illegal in a rom-com. Next up are my choices for the number 4 spot. Number 4, Spy Family. There were several promising new series that debuted in 2022, but I think I had the most fun with Spy Family, and you can check out the video I did for more of my thoughts. The premise was great. A world-class spy and a world-class assassin form a fake family, but the only one who knows their true identities is their telepathic fake daughter. Anya provided the cuteness, Yor provided the hotness, and Lloyd was also there. Sometimes I just wanted to turn my brain off and watch an entertaining show with high-quality animation, and this show always delivered. It's another one I could recommend to just about anyone, despite some of its pacing problems. Next up are my choices for the number 3 spot. Number 3, Chainsaw Man. Right now I'm scripting a video on the psychology of Chainsaw Man, similar to the one that I did on Jujutsu Kaisen. Here I'll say that beyond the spectacle of blood, sex, and gore, Chainsaw Man personifies the id unchained and running rampant through the streets of Japan. But what moved this show into the top 5 for me was when some of the characters finally started to feel a little more fleshed out around episode 4 or 5, especially the secondary characters. Because for the first few episodes, I felt like Chainsaw Man was an exciting, visceral show with excellent animation and completely hollow characters that I felt absolutely nothing for. Many of those characters initially feel hollow because they are. They only gain added complexity once some of their initial needs are met and they start interacting with others for the first time. Chainsaw Man's view on the world is definitely different from my own, but the show is a real throwback to the 80s and 90s shows that gave anime its entertaining and hyper-violent reputation. Now here are the choices for my number 2 spot. Number 2, Call of the Night. In my review of Call of the Night, I talk a lot about how the music and the nighttime atmosphere of the show really take everything up a notch. Call of the Night is about a boy named Ko Yamori who meets a stylish vampire named Nazuna during his many nighttime rambles. There are actually quite a few people roaming the nighttime streets in this town, including several more vampires, and I loved watching Ko and Nazuna interact with the other characters and with each other. I thought the character designs were a lot of fun, and again, that soundtrack was great. Few shows this past year had me as excited as this one to finish up with work so I could dive back into the storytelling and the unique world of Call of the Night. Now here are the choices for my number 1 pick of 2022. Number 1, Made in Abyss, the Golden City of the Scorching Sun. This was not always the easiest show to watch, but I do think it was the best show of 2022. Rig, Rico, and Nanachi's continued descent into the depths of the abyss is captivating and terrifying at the same time. At some point, it almost feels like the world of the show and the people and the objects that you see on the screen have gone beyond representing physical forms, and instead what you see is a swirling dance of colors that represents pure emotion. Pain, grief, longing, despair, these emotions are given physical forms and wage war against each other. Fapata's entrance into the village is one of my favorite anime scenes of the year. She gives an incredible speech that is delivered perfectly by the voice actor and accompanied by Kevin Penkin's masterful soundtrack. The entire season up to that point has felt like a bizarre dream world, and Bailoff ends the scene by putting that feeling into words and urging Nanachi that it is time to wake up. It's a wonderfully dramatic moment that captures the intense beauty and strangeness that I get from the best anime shows, so that makes it my pick for number 1 of 2022. So let's see how everybody did. Pac-Man, you got 11-teen. Monkey, you got a picture of a cat. And Bear, you got the Nazgul had flying steeds and could have attacked the eagles. That's just great. Hey, that's my cheese. I won't give any honorable mentions because that's pretty much all the clips that didn't get picked for the top 5. Let me know how many points you got out of 25 down in the comments. We're going to finish this cheese, but for your prize, I'll show you some of the weird picks the AI came up with when I asked for help with the thumbnail. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.